hear this morning of Ken, of course, talking about fall food and fall eating and how fun it is to, start to do recipes that have those great smells, the cinnamon smells, and remind you of Thanksgiving and remind you of family. And we were kind of wanting to brainstorm some fun recipes that you could do and still stay on track to keep your inflammation down and keep moving towards a life of wellness. And so I'm Donna Webb, and this is Valerie Charlin and Rachel Wemple, and we all work with Dr. Charlin and just to help in different ways to keep everybody healthy. So Valerie, why don't you start? She's telling us about some delicious apple cooking that she's been doing.
So I'm the health coach at Charlin Health and Neurology, and I have stayed on the elimination diet for a full year. And I noticed a lot of benefits in the way my joints feel and just kind of relearning how to eat the way my body feels after I eat. But recently I just took a national board certification, and I was so nervous studying. I wanted comfort food desperately. Well, I couldn't grab a box of cookies, of course. And so the only thing I could come up with is I cut apples up, put them in the skillet with some avocado oil, put some pecans in it, sprinkle cinnamon all over it, and the house smelled amazing.
Yes, we can picture that.
And it was a nice, warm bowl, almost like I was having a piece of pie.
Almost.
And it did satisfy me for that comfort food. Well, then the weather turned cold, and it's damp and chilly. You're putting your socks on.
Yes. Pajamas.
And I was just like, well, I don't know how to cook because I eat salads all the time. So to Rachel, our creative cook, asking for some advice.
Yesterday I gave Valerie the recipe for chocolate chili. It's a Melissa Joulwan recipe from Well Fed. She has 2 cookbooks, and then she has great resources online. And that has been one of my most popular chili recipes to share and to make for my family. It's super easy to make, and it's compliant with what we recommend. So that secret ingredient of cocoa powder in it just makes it kind of really rich, and it has fire roasted tomatoes in it and a bunch of spices. So to me, that's really comforting food that maybe typically you may make different ways that may not be compliant where this recipe is.
So it doesn't taste like chocolate, it's more sort of like a mole flavor.
Right, just kind of gives it more richness to it, to the flavor.
So that savory.
And then we made it, we had a cooking class, Donna and I did, and we made it for everyone there. And we made a cornbread that was really good and really popular, and that was delicious with it. And then we roasted a tray of vegetables, and then when they were ready out of the oven, we just kind of put those on top of our chili too, because Donna and I teach our clients that at every meal you should have a good amount of vegetables and a moderate amount of protein and healthy fat, and so that fits all those components.
Absolutely, and we probably could attach a link to this post with those recipes. So we will attempt to do that today. Get that done for everybody. So, and then you guys were mentioning also maybe berries. Maybe there's a way that we can still incorporate berries.
I'd like something that smelled really good like that. That like it's the whole pie thing for me.
But I've done that before with apples and diced them up, and then just use frozen berries because right now berries aren't in season, but frozen berries are great. And we get a lot of questions like, is it okay if we eat frozen versus fresh? And we love frozen fruits and vegetables. So that's something that you could also add and do the cinnamon with it and some nutmeg. And
delicious.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so delicious.
And I'm thinking of pears too.
Because
it's a
pears
great
are in
fall
season.
fruit.
So what would I spice that with? Because in the old days I'd use Red Hots.
Oh, that's right. That's how my grandma would make applesauce is with the Red Hots.
Right, so that's compliant.
Absolutely. But I still think you can use a little chili powder too. If you have sort of chili powder or cinnamon, cinnamon sticks and that kind of thing.
That makes Red Hot.
It will. There is some sweet recipes in the past that do use chili powder again, just to kind of just bump that flavor up a little bit. So I think you could use that as well.
That's true. That makes
that
me think
sweet
of,
and spicy.
Apple butter making days, because my family would always go to Mount Vernon for apple butter making days. And then I remember my grandma outside with a big what kind of pot are those?
Cast iron.
Cast iron, yes.
Right.
And they would stir it for hours, but I have no idea how much sugar was in there. So, that's another thing is making your own applesauce or your own pear applesauce too, and putting some cinnamon in there.
And cinnamon's very anti-inflammatory.
Yes.
Very healthy.
Yeah, that's a great point. And all those spices really
Yes.
are. Yeah, great for the gut, great for anti-inflammatory. And I think fruit really, if we think about it, really is sweet enough, and it's got those natural thickeners like the pectin and things in there too. So you don't have to add all the other stuff that we used to do for the apple butter or the jelly and things like that. I think you can get a really delicious fall treat with just doing some of that with those fruits.
And I love marmalade, so I can see just grating some oranges.
Oh, yeah.
That would be really good.
In with my pears.
Yes, that all sounds so good.
With berries. And I think too, talking to clients, once they remove processed foods and start eating real food, like fruit tastes really, you can enjoy fruit now because it tastes so much sweeter. All those prepackaged foods have so much sugar in them and they're highly palatable. It changes our taste buds. So removing those and then bringing in the whole foods kind of resets that and you can enjoy it more.
And I think just with cooking fruit anyway, it just enhances the sweetness.
That's
I
true.
think you're right. Yeah. And then Valerie, you mentioned like doing nuts, even like putting pecans or something. If you want just a little more texture, I think that's a really great thing to add too.
Yeah, and for our next cooking class, you were bringing that air fryer.
Right.
Talk about what are you because I don't have an air fryer.
Yeah,
I need to get one. What are you going to do
Well,
with
I love
that?
my air fryer. I consider it kind of a mini convection oven. And so if you're a one-person or a two-person household, it's a great thing to actually bake or roast your vegetables in. And so for me, I love toasted nuts. So I love toasted pecans or toasted walnuts. And I literally can get my walnuts or pecans toasted in 4 minutes in my air fryer.
That's what always happens if I do stovetop. Like I don't pay
You have to
attention
pay it
and
to
then-
get on top
then
of
they burn.
them. So I put it on a pretty high level, maybe a 375, 400, something like that. And I can walk away for 4 minutes and I come back and they're just perfect. So yeah. So
But if you don't have one, the skillet still works. You just put a little avocado oil in it, and I sprinkle rosemary on almonds, and they're amazing.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And the house smells really good, like
that scent. And you were talking about that kind of bringing in more mindfulness, I think, with the spices and sitting down at the table and being mindful as you eat it kind of slows the process down. You enjoy it more versus, kind of our busy lifestyle.
Well, and then just the old days, coming from a small town like we did, we sat down to a meal and everybody had to loosen their pants and your belly swells out. And so you grew up and like, oh, that's what full feels like. But once you start eating an anti-inflammatory diet, you realize, no, I actually feel full and my belly doesn't swell out. And, I just have this content, satisfied feel, and I can keep my pants buttoned.
It's a whole new concept. That's awesome. One other real quick thing. So, and so of the group, I'm this very simple cooker. So I'm the lazy cook in the house. I'm the lazy cook in the house. So thinking through, I was going to have a late night last night, and I didn't want to again have to scramble and figure out what I was going to have for dinner. So my husband's working from home because of COVID. So I called Rick about 11 and asked him to just go ahead and throw some chicken breasts in the crock pot. And I always do a tablespoon of cumin and a tablespoon of chili powder. And it's got like a Southwest kind of flavor to it. Again, we're adding some great spices to it. We had some vegetables already cut up. I told him to throw those in there, cook it for 6 hours on high, and it's perfect. And so it's my opinion that for crock pots, if you're cooking longer than 6 hours, it kind of misses its sweet point. It's like the meat is so tender at that 5 to 6 hour mark, but then longer than that, to me, it feels a little too tough and dried out. So with him working from home, it worked out perfect. So I had a delicious dinner last night, sort of this almost a tortilla soup type of dinner, but it was really tasty, super easy, and just didn't spend a lot of time in the kitchen when I got home from work, which was perfect.
I like the Indian spices, that garam masala. I put that in that crock pot. That just really
Yeah.
Makes a wonderful aroma throughout the house.
Yeah.
I think people forget about crock pot recipes, and I know for families, I try to encourage to cook bigger amounts of protein, so then you have leftovers.
Right.
And hide your leftovers in the vegetable drawer because nobody looks there, and you'll have leftovers the next day.
That's a great tip.
Yeah, nobody
That's a
checks
great
the
tip.
vegetable drawer.
That's a great tip. But I also want to just give you one other great tip. So always make sure that you've got 2 meats thawing in your meat drawer at all times. Because if I didn't have that, I wouldn't have had anything to like quick think on my feet and let's get dinner done. So as soon as you cook something, something else comes out of the freezer and goes into your meat drawer. So you've always got that meat thawing.
Yeah,
So
that's a great tip.
I always have that bag of frozen shrimp for emergencies.
that works too. Frozen fish works too. Okay, guys, we
one
want to
more
take.
thing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So cold tea, hot teas,
Oh, right.
So because it's cold, and so there you can do. I had some Thai chai
Yeah,
tea
your chai tea.
that didn't have sugar in it. It was amazing.
Ooh, delicious.
You know, and
Delicious.
also the cinnamon sticks in the tea. Just ways to get more flavor
I love it.
and warmth
Yeah,
in the
and
belly.
I think that's a great tip for people that are trying to move away from sugar to break those sugar cravings, like hot tea, and there's so many different flavors now. That really helps.
They really do.
They really
it really
do.
does help. Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, ladies, I think we came up with
Good
some
tips.
great ideas. I'm gonna need to download this and remember all these
We'll
great
share
tips,
that
so.
recipe, the recipes for the chocolate chili and the non-cornbread cornbread.
Perfect.
Okay.
Non-cornbread cornbread.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right, guys. You have a great day. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Don't forget to
Bye.
give Dr. Charlene's office a call if you're having any problems or want to meet with any of us. So we're here to help, and this is our passion. So anyway, have a great day. Bye bye.